Welcome to another episode of the Cat Breeding for Beginners podcast. I'm Pamela and I breed British Shorthairs in Perth, Western Australia. I have a real passion for cat breeding and exhibiting, and I want to share my knowledge and experience with you. I'm on a mission to help new cat breeders go from feeling intimidated, confused and having trouble getting started to confidently breeding happy and healthy cats whilst enjoying this amazing hobby. Before we get started, make sure you visit my website and download your copy of my helpful guide, Advice to New Breeders, where experienced breeders share some great tips they wish someone told them when they started breeding. You can find the link on my homepage at www.catbreedingforbeginners.com. Just look for the picture of Angelica with her kittens. When you're a new breeder and you're having your first litter of kittens, or maybe you've had a couple of litters of kittens but you still haven't had a lot of litters of kittens, it can be really stressful when it comes time for your kittens to wean onto solid food. And it can be really tricky because there's so many different conflicting bits of information and ways to do things, and it can be really stressful and you don't know which direction you should go. But there's something I want to tell you that's the key, most important thing, the most important thing about weaning kittens, and that is having patience. Because you might think that it's time for those kittens to be eating solid food, but if they don't think it's time for them to be eating solid food, there's no point trying to force it. And I do see this a lot. I do see lots of ways to, syringe food into them, give them this food, put their face in it, do this, do that. But one of the best thing to do is just to wait and let them get there naturally on their own. Now, when it comes to feeding kittens, we really do seem to have this idea that they have to start, by X weeks old, they have to be eating solid food and they're off their mum and all of this has to happen. And I really think it's ridiculous to have such a strict regime for them. If anyone's had kids, some people's kids start eating solid food early, some start eating a bit later. Some kids want milk for longer, some kids don't. Everybody's child is different and everybody's kittens are different. And sometimes you can have differences of kittens within the same litter. And that can be frustrating when everybody else is eating and there's just one that won't start eating. But they'll get there. And again, it comes down to having patience. One of the things that can be really helpful is just to let them eat mum's food. I feed my mum's Royal Canin baby cat, mother and baby cat. I feed them the the little tins, the little cans of that. We don't have cans, we have little foil trays. Other places have cans. And I feed the mums the mother and baby cat, which is exactly what I'd be feeding the kittens. I feed the mums the mother and baby cat kibble, which is exactly what I'd be feeding the kittens. So I just make sure that the bowls aren't too deep and the bowls are suitable, and I put them down, and if they want to join in and eat mum's food, then that's great. Sometimes they'll even surprise me. I'll think, it's okay for me to be feeding mum in there because no one's eating yet, and I'll turn around and one of the kittens is just toddled over and is just going having its mum's food. And that's great. That makes me really happy. But if they don't, that's okay as well. Sometimes mum might actually get in the way. Mum might want to eat it, but if that's the case, you can always put mum in a separate area and just let her in to finish it off if the kittens don't eat it. But giving the food to mum in there with the kittens means that they will come over and have a bit of a taste if they want to. But the biggest thing that you need to think about is being patient and waiting for them to get there on their own, and remembering that each litter is different. Each litter has their own way of doing things. And even when I've had litters of kittens where I've had 2 litters of kittens born a day apart, they have not had the same time frame in terms of weaning. And even if the kittens are all weaning at the same time within a litter, they might be different to the litter that was born a day after them, which you wouldn't think there would be so much difference, but it comes down to their parents as well. Breeds of cats are different. Different breeds of cats, some of them will wean early, some of them will wean later. I do know that if you talk to a Siamese and Oriental breeder, they're going to tell you their cats wean early. If you talk to someone that has Persians or British Shorthairs or some of the bigger breeds, they're going to wean later. That's also a factor as well. So listen to what other people say, listen to their advice, but when it comes down to it, the one thing I want you to think about is being patient, and let your kittens decide when they want to eat, and then just support them and give them plenty of food so that they can grow up to be fatties, because we all love fat kittens. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful to you. Thanks for listening. Make sure you visit www.catbreedingforbeginners.com where you can find articles, guides, courses and more. Plus, make sure you check out my amazing New Cat Breeders Club. It's a supportive space where new cat breeders can learn, share and help each other. I only take new members a few times a year, so sign up to make sure you don't miss out.